Jennifer Beckham was 18 when she was chosen out of thousands of young women to portray the coveted roles of Cinderella, Snow White, and Sleeping Beauty. Tall, slender, beautiful, the total package, waving to the delighted crowd as she passed by on her Disney float. Yet, like so many women, she was crippled by what was going on in her head. All of her life, she'd been yearning for acceptance and love, and no amount of lovely princess gowns, sparkling carriages, or tiaras were fulfilling her. Today, Jennifer is traveling around the world in conventional vehicles and wearing contemporary outfits as she helps women in finding their true purpose in life. She's the author of, are you ready for this? Okay? Get Over Yourself. 7 principles to get over yourself and get on with your destiny. We're thrilled to have you back, Jennifer.
Thank you. It's so funny, you're giggling on the couch while you're going through the intro. She's like laughing.
I was a tomboy too.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I belong in cleats. These heels, I'm telling you.
She was a total athlete,
and you're
actually.
giggling about all that. I mean, because I think is it strange and funny to say you were Cinderella, you were Snow White, you were this beautiful, I mean, not that you're not beautiful. I mean, you're a beautiful woman, and you're giggling.
Yeah, there was never a day that I looked in the mirror and said, oh yeah, I can completely see why they chose me. There's not one day. There's not one day. So no, it is. It's comical to me, and I'm so glad there's not a tiara on my head. Y'all did great.
There's yours in the bowl.
Oh, is that mine? Okay. Right after this.
During the commercial break.
Just a quick recap, because it is fascinating. And I'm sure God was working in it all.
Oh, absolutely.
That 13 years after waving to Cinderella at Disneyland and her coach and saying, Mommy, I want to be her.
That's right.
You were her.
That's right.
And in fact, in the very coach that Cinderella had waved to you from.
Sure. And it was, you know, it's funny because at the age of 7 I had that dream, and that dream was placed in my heart. And I was raised as a tomboy all of my life. I was raised with brothers, and I didn't like women much, you know, and I can say that only because we're mean to each other and catty, and then I got to realize that my problem with women wasn't with women, it was with myself. And so that's a whole, you know, that's a whole nother thing right there. But raised really, you know, with those thoughts, and from the age of 7 to the age of 18 or 19 when I was chosen, life had happened. And so there was the dream when I was 7, but by the time I got there, the reality of life kind of just crashed into those dreams, and it wasn't what I thought that it would be. And when I got up on that float and I was expecting it to fulfill me, it didn't. It was one of those things where you run after those things in life, and then you get there and you look around and you think, this is it? This is what I chased so hard after. We do that with so many things, and that's what it was for me. Getting up on that float, I looked around and I thought, I'm still the same person. I'm still seeing in the mirror the same things. I still have the same issues and trials and temptations and all of those things. You know, it's not just about this. There was interior stuff, or internal stuff, I should say, going on that the crown and the costumes didn't take away.
Let's just look at the costumes. The former Princess Jennifer.
Okay,
She's
if we
still
must.
A princess.
Oh, look at you with the wave.
Oh,
even.
yeah.
You've got the wave there.
And I've got, it's, okay.
Wow. You're like, and speed along there.
No, it's good. It's funny. You know, to me, you know, I have a 5-year-old daughter, and she could really care less about any of that stuff. She doesn't tell her friends Mommy was a princess. Now, if I were Hannah Montana, that would be a totally different thing.
Wow.
But yeah, she's not impressed, and it wasn't something that I was impressed with either at the time. Nor is it for me. It was just, you know, most people go to seminary. God sent me to Disney to learn some life lessons, and that's where I learned how to walk my walk as a Christian.
But I think the title of your book is so funny, but great, because it resonates. Like, get over yourself. Yeah. Where does that come from?
It was the Lord's words to me, truly. I was already, my husband and I went from strangers to married in 8 weeks. And I always say, please do not try that at home. That was definitely God. And even when God's involved in that, it's still going to be extremely difficult. And it was. Marriage to me was, I was always looking for a quick fix. I was always looking for something, turning over a new leaf. You know, people moved to different cities to turn over a new leaf. I did that for about 2.5 years after Disney. It took me about that long to ruin my life in every city, so I could just pick up and move and start over somewhere else, but all the junk continued to follow me. And then I ran into marriage, and he was already a minister.
Anthony.
So Anthony was, my husband was. And so to me, it represented, I think kind of like the Disney life, it represented that place that I wanted to be, but I couldn't seem to reach it. And then when I would get there, there were still issues. So I ran into marriage thinking that marriage would fix everything. And while I love him, and while our marriage is wonderful 13 years later, that first year was, you know, when it didn't fix, my prayer every day was, God, help me. And finally, God woke me up 4 mornings in a row with the words of my boss in Tokyo Disneyland, Tommy is his name. Those words came to my mind, and I didn't know what they were about. It just frustrated me even further. I said, Lord, I'm asking you for help, and you're giving me a man's words that I haven't heard in 14 years. What do they have to do with anything? And his words to me one day at Disney, when I was having a bulimic fit, I was looking for love in all the wrong places, dressing like a princess during the day, but at night, literally wanting to take my life. And went into work one day and just trying to avoid him, because, you know, the Bible says that your sin will find you out. And I came to understand how true that is, because what goes on the inside of you will eventually be able to, or begin manifesting on the outside of you. And it was. My eating disorder was manifesting on the outside of me, on my skin, on my hair, on my nails, my everything. I lost my glow, I lost my bounce in my step, and I knew it was evident.
So what did he say to you? We need to hear that.
Well, I walked into the green room and saw him there and tried to avoid him, and he grabbed my hand and turned me around to him, and he looked up in face to face, and he said, "What's going on with you?" And I said, "Nothing, Tommy, I'm fine." Tried to turn away again. He turned me back to him, and he got up in my face, and about the third time that he didn't let me go, I just unloaded, I unleashed, and face to face I said to him, I said, "I don't feel like being here today, Tommy. I don't feel like a princess. I don't feel like doing this, okay?" And, you know, I thought I'd have his arm wrapped around my shoulder, and he'd say, "Oh, honey, go home. You know, you obviously don't belong in a..." Yeah. And I didn't get that. What I got was, well, dead silence until I looked up, came face to face with him. He cleared his throat, and he said, "Whoever asked you to feel?"